Given how punitive the SEC has been towards crypto under this administration, do you envision the XRP ledger being incorporated into the financial institutions in the future?
Well, I certainly cannot speak to any specific crypto, but I do think that the sort of cryptocurrency is an interesting and probably valuable bulwark against a centralized control. This is definitely not an endorsement or lack of endorsement for XRP, but I do think crypto, by its very nature, it helps with individual freedom.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
Also, just before we go any further, this channel has a daily giveaway of 1 million Shiba tokens. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and comment hashtag Shiba Inu. Good luck.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services. I think AI is probably the other big disruption there, but and there's so much noise around a lot of things like FTX and others. But if you bring the technology down to its core value, it does three things. One is it allows a payment mechanism. Number two, it allows smart contracts to be programmed into the token. And three, because it's a general ledger, it has a source of truth. So whoever has that token, all rights in that token are granted to that person. So if I sell it to Frank, I don't have to go through a third party to do it. Frank gets it, and Frank gets all the rights.
So if you hold XRP, you own at least one XRP is 1/100 billionth of all the wealth of the human race.
What would that make for the entity Ripple then?
Well, that would make Ripple the World Bank.
Interesting. And let's expand upon that. What does that mean for those in the audience who might not be engaged in the XRP community or have an understanding of what the World Bank entails?
Well, I'm sure as people who have never heard this before or aren't aware of Ripple and XRP, they're listening to this and they might think, oh, this guy's a conspiracy theorist, right? They don't know, because somebody like me who has studied finance going back to the Roman Empire, going back to before that, all the way back to the stone money dials on Yap Island in the Federated States of Micronesia. When you look at the patterns and history of money to where we are right now, after the petrodollar, after we came off the gold reserve, there's really only one competitor to be the global reserve currency, only one thing that can come in and replace the dollar, and that is XRP.
When you look at the price of Bitcoin, of where it is today and where Ripple is at, this is what you'll notice. Today, Ripple is give or take $244. Bitcoin today, give or take $86,000, okay? If you go back 4 years ago, Ripple's high was $1.65. Bitcoin 4 years ago was $64,000. If you go to 2017 to 2018, Ripple high was $384. Bitcoin was $17,800. To let's just say $86,000 to $100,000, it's 6x, let's say 5x, while Ripple has actually gone down. Now, of course, there's a pending lawsuit. Is that going to get cleared? Security, is it a security? Is it not? President Trump, he's mentioned an XRP, and what's kind of weird in his whole Truth Social post, what's the first cryptocurrency he puts in there? It's not Bitcoin. It's not Ethereum. It's not Cardano. The first one he puts in there is XRP Ripple. Why?
Joe, it's been said that you are one of the biggest Ethereum holders.
It has been said. I've heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
Based on no data. In terms of consensus, we are a small fraction of the Ethereum asset and all the assets on the Ethereum platform.
I find it interesting that Ripple is attacked for being transparent.
XRP is a value token and it trades in an open market. If the CFTC noticed that you owned 60% of the silver supply, how comfortable would they be?
But I won't speak for the CFTC. We have in escrow 55% of all the XRP that we own. We can't sell it. We can't do anything with it. So we actually own about 13%.
So, but you do sell it regularly, right? Don't you sell it into the market?
We're very transparent about that. How much do you sell?
When necessary.
최근에 브래드 갈링하우스 리플의 CEO거든요. 리플의 CEO가 이런 말을 했습니다. 향후 5년 내에 2030년도까지 스위프트의 시장 규모의 약 14%를 XRP가 차지할 것이다. 왜냐면 지금 스위프트가 ISO 2002 탑재하고 있고 결국에는 여기 안에 지금 리플렛이 들어있는 걸 알기 때문에 이런 말을 한 거죠. 근데 지금 스위프트 시장 규모 하루 거래량 자체가 대략 5조 달러 정도가 되거든요. 그 5조 달러 기준으로 해서 연간 결제치 거기서 리플 XRP가 14%의 포션을 가져간다라고 했을 때 최소 300달러에서 500달러 사이가 나올 수 있다. AI에 이제 제가 이걸 또 대입을 해가지고 다 돌려봤는데 최소 300달러에서 한 450달러, 많게는 500달러를 넘어갈 수 있는데 그래봤자 5년인 거잖아요. 5년 뒤에 300달러 정도까지 정말 그렇게 파이썬의 예측치처럼 간다라고 했을 때 이 100배가 어쨌든 상승을 하는 거잖아요. 우리가 어떤 주식이든 어떤 부동산이든 어떤 ETF를 투자할 때 5년 안에 300배 이상의 수익을 낼 수 있는 자산이 있을까라는 그 퀘스천 마크를 한다면 저는 천천히 모아가기에 매우 매력적인 자산이지 않을까.
The whiteboard in the Frinkcoin episode shows SHA 256.
Someone posted a solution on the whiteboard. Frink is ruined.
Did I do it? No.
I guess we'll never know.
Which is a cryptographic hash function created by the National Security Agency, the NSA. Well, do you want to know who worked for the NSA previously? Ripple CTO, David Schwartz. And in 1988, the same year as the Economist Phoenix cover saying to get ready for a world currency, well, David Schwartz filed a patent for a multi-level distributed processing system the exact same year. And when you plug in David Schwartz into the Gematria calculator, it reveals God's secret plan, flip the switch, and XRP one world currency.
What percent chance does XRP go to $1,000 in 2026? I think it'll be more than that in 2026 if everything kind of pans out the way that I think it's going to go. I know this price target sounds wildly crazy to a lot of people. We talked about dark pools. I put out a video on that the other day. We've talked about all the circumstances in which supply and demand dynamics drive price substantially higher for XRP. We've talked about the reverse carry trade and treasuries and tether and the back end of the stock market and unrealized losses and all the things that are literally set up ready to go when this thing is ready. What are they waiting on? Maybe they're waiting on a star. Maybe they're waiting on something else. I don't know what it is, but they're waiting on something and they've stacked the deck for this thing to kick off and go to very high prices when it's time. Personally, I think very high percentage chance that it's probably higher than that in 2026.
Well, well, well. Would you look at that? Mr. Steen didn't like XRP. But you know what he did like? Bitcoin. Who else was affiliated with Mr. Steen? Well, per the emails, that would be Gary Gensler. What did Gary Gensler do? Well, he went after XRP and lost for 4 years, which held the coin down significantly. Oh, and would you look at that? He was also an investor in Coinbase. What was the first exchange to ditch XRP when the lawsuit started? It was Coinbase. So to me, it seems like Mr. Steen didn't like Ripple alive and he wanted to bury them, which is exactly what we've been fucking saying.
5 major cryptocurrencies that will be the pillars of all the crypto. XP was what? XP. So you have prophetic words that are given by prophetic people that see in the spirit, but you never know the timing because there's depth perception to prophetic. There'll be 5. There's 3 that are very strong, and there's 1 that's the strongest. So I saw 1 in the middle, 2 on the side of them, and then it goes 2 more over like this. And then they were standing, each one like a pillar, like one of those Greek columns, Roman columns that look like a solid, like a granite, like a rock column. And there were support systems on the columns. The Holy Spirit showed me support systems on these columns.
Is XRP going to go to $3,000? That's not the question. The question is, what happens if 300,000 people put a market order in for XRP all at the same time? What happens if, I don't know, 3 million Chinese people, when they get access to XRP, when it's at $3, what happens if they put a market order in? XRP is like money. That makes it a commodity, like gold, like silver, like soybeans. It's supply and demand. Everybody is always like, oh, wow, the XRP math says blah, 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 blah. No, people, how about we just say it's a valuable form of money and it'll stop going up when the last person is in? And since it's only been going up for a week, I'm guessing that's a long way away.